Actually, it's good afternoon almost. Thank you for joining us on the Dental Board of California meeting. My name is Dr. Steve Chan. I am the president of the Dental Board. Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. This board meeting is being held via teleconference with the disclosed in-person location available for the board and public member participation. For all those who wish to participate online, please log on to the WebEx website provided on the posted agenda for the meeting. Instructions to connect to the meeting are provided on the agenda. The preferred audio connection is via telephone and not the microphone and speakers on your computer. The telephone number and access code will be provided as part of your connection to the meeting. During each call for comments from board members and speakers, we will ensure that all comments that can be accommodated are heard before proceeding with the agenda. This is an official business meeting of the Dental Board of California. The board welcomes public comments on any item on the agenda. It is the board's intent to ask for public comments prior to the board taking action on any agenda item. Please be mindful of the words and tone you use when sharing your thoughts. We understand that issues discussed here may be deeply personal or frustrating, especially when we find ourselves on opposite sides of an issue. But even in disagreement, we ask that everyone engage respectfully. Let's aim for a dialogue that's constructive rather than contentious. Please remember that every process, every discussion, and decision undertaken by the board is grounded on our mission to protect the public. That remains at the heart of all we do. The DCA monitor will explain the process for providing public comment shortly. For individuals, the public comment participating via WebEx, when called upon, the moderator will give the individual permission to unmute themselves. The person will have 2 minutes to make public comment. The moderator will audibly announce when 30 seconds remain to conclude. After the 2 minutes have been lapsed, the individual will be placed back on mute. Only one public comment per agenda item is allowed per attendees. We ask that all speakers please stay on topic and not repeat testimony already provided. If you agree with testimony already provided, please just state your name and that you are in support of any comments previously provided. I would now like to ask the DCA moderator to please explain how the public comments will be taken during the meeting.
Thank you. This is the moderator. For purposes of today's meeting, when the board president opens public comment, members of the public who would like to provide public comment at our DCA location in Sacramento can approach the table and microphone at the front of the room. For those joining via WebEx, when the board opens for public comment, I will announce that the comment period is open. Members of the public will then be able to click on the hand icon to raise their hands. Instructions will also be on the screen. Call-in users will need to press *3 to raise their hands. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to provide public comment with a 30-second warning before the time is up. Instructions to connect to the meeting are linked on page 1 of the meeting agenda. If you are experiencing audio issues and are using a computer or mobile device, follow the call-in instructions on page 2 of the instructions to connect to the meeting to use your phone as a speaker. While you are free to express criticism or negative views, for the sake of the members of the public participating on the call, please do not use profane language when making public comments to the board. I will provide a brief reminder of this approach at the start of each public comment item. Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting is called to order. There is one board member participating in this meeting remotely. Each board member participating remotely must disclose whether there are any other individuals 18 age 18 years of age or older present in the room at the remote location with the board member. That member must disclose the general nature of the member's relationship with any such individuals. Dr. Forge, is there anyone 18 years of age or older present in the room with you at your remote location?
No.
Thank you. Board members participating remotely are reminded that they must visibly appear on camera during the open portion of the meeting. If the remote member experiences any trouble with visibly appearing on camera, the member shall announce the reason for their non-appearance, which they turn off when they turn off their camera, and as such are due to challenges with internet connectivity. I will now ask the board secretary to please call the roll.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lilia Larin, Board Secretary. I will now call the roll. Chan,
Aye,
Chan,
present.
present. Cheng,
Chang present.
Cheng, present. David, David, present. Deer King,
Deer King present.
Deer King, present. Felsenfeld,
Felsenfeld here.
Felsenfeld, present. Forge,
Forge present.
Forge, present. Larin, present. Medina,
Medina present.
Medina, present. Olage,
Olage present.
Olage, present. Thakur,
Present.
Thakur, present. And you
present.
present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 2. Public comments on items not on the agenda were on page 6 of the printed materials. Before we open the public comment on matters not on the agenda, I would like to remind individuals making comments to not discuss pending complaints, pending licensing applications, or pending disciplinary actions that may come before the board for a decision. Such decisions are considered as ex parte communications, as they could provide information to the board members that is outside of the record in violation of the Administrative Procedure Act. Such discussions could create a conflict and lead to a board decision being challenged in Superior Court. Accordingly, if an individual makes comments on a pending disciplinary matter, the individual will be interrupted. The board can, of course, receive comments regarding the board's processes in general, but it cannot receive comments on specific case circumstances where the decision is still pending. In addition, public comments should address the board as a whole and not individual members. Please be aware that public comment during the agenda item should provide information to the board members, but it is not a discussion between the board members and the public. The only action board members can take right now is to listen to comments and decide if they want a future agenda item on the topic. Though this may seem at times like the board members are not being responsive, following these guidelines is critical to ensure the rules of the Open Meeting Act are followed to avoid compromising the speaker's goals or the board's mission. In addition, in the interest of time, as we've done in the past, we would like to request that public comments not repeat statements. The only action board members can take right now is to listen to comments and decide whether or not they want a future agenda item on the topic. Though this may seem at times like the board members are not being responsive made by the prior commentator, if you are in support of a statement by a prior individual and your comments have been already made, please just state the name of your association and your support for the previous commenter. Legislative hearings regularly use this practice as a good way to ensure that we can hear from everyone today. Are there any in-person public comments? And please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tukas Okai, and I am representing with the California Dental Association. I just want to take a moment to recognize someone who is not here today that has been a force for this board and for regulation, and that's Dr. Bruce Witcher, who tragically passed away last week. And I just want to recognize him in this space and for many of us here today, both on the board and in the room and listening, just how much he has impacted us all here today, and the legacy that this board will continue to have is based so much on the work that he did. I only knew him for about 3 years, but he became a dear friend and mentor, and just wanted to take a moment for us to all think of him, think of his family, and just be extra appreciative for the work that we do because of his advocacy and his dedication to this profession.
Thank you. It's hard for us to. We'll have further comments on this. Are there any other in-person public comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. We have opened up the public comment session and are displaying instructions on the screen. We do have 4 people already, but to explain further, if you'd like to make a comment, you can look for the hand icon. If you are on a mobile device, that hand icon might be behind the 3-dot other options. For computer users, it will be at the bottom of the screen. And our calling users can press *3 to raise their hands. I'll start with the first hand raise. It's Ana Maria Quintana. I'm going to send you a request to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes. And Ana Maria, you should get a pop-up on your screen that will allow you to click on Unmute Me. There you go. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ana Maria Quintana. I'm Councilwoman for the City of Bell. I want to take this time to thank the board in advance for agreeing, voting to put the agenda item on foreign dental schools at the upcoming November meeting. We have been working on the subject matter for a while now. Foreign dental schools, 2 of them specifically that were previously approved by the board, Moldova University and De La Salle University located in Mexico, have been a pipeline, became a pipeline where dental practitioners were allowed to come to the state of California and practice should they pass the required exams. So the bill is listed now for a commentary, but again, it will be discussed in greater depth in November, and just encouraging everyone to familiarize yourselves and recognize that the lack of access to dental care in our communities is very much alive. The program came to an end in 2019, and to this date, we still have to solidify and create another program to address the needs, because the needs remain. So thank you in advance, and we definitely look forward to having a much more robust conversation in November.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank
Are there-
you. Yes, there are. Our next in line is Khalif Alsagi, and I'm going to go ahead and send you a request to unmute. You'll see a pop-up on your screen. Go ahead. We're not hearing you.
Orthodontist. Hello, do you have me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great. Khalif Asagai with the California Association of Orthodontists. We just want to thank the board for their work with us over the last few months on addressing our issues with regard to ultrasonic scaling as resulting from new language in SB 1453. We were able to meet with the interim executive director as well as staff, ask and answer get all of our questions answered about the requirement, and the clarification made it so that we to discuss this at the board level, but we wanted to just publicly thank the board and thank the staff for addressing our concerns, for working with us, and we look forward to working with you in the future on other issues.
Thank you.
And our next commenter is Juanita Chavez. And Juanita, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. You'll see a pop-up on your screen. And Juanita, I'll send that request again, and you will need to click the unmute me. There you are. Perfect. We can hear you now.
I want to agree with Ana Maria Quintana's comments, support those comments. And if Dolores Huerta is able to get on and make comment, I want to also support her comment.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And that is the end of the raised hands. So I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair. Oh, we
Thank you.
have my apologies. We do have one more last minute raised hand.
Okay.
Let's see, Juanita Chavez now.
She was just there. She already
Right,
gave comment.
right. And then Dolores Huerta, did you raise your hand and lower it again? Let's see. Okay, Dolores, I sent you a request to unmute your microphone. And Dolores, you'll see a pop-up that says that you have to click unmute me. All right, Dolores, it looks like you're having issues with your mic. I've opened up the chat feature so that you can send me your question. So if you could just type yes into the chat so that I know it's working for you, and then I'll give you 2 minutes to type. And I'm not seeing anything from Dolores. So Dolores, I believe you have the email address and you may submit your comments via email. At this time, that is the only raised hands that we had. So I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to agenda item 3, discussion and possible action on the May 14, 15, 2025 board meeting minutes. We're on page 7 through 33 of the meeting materials. Is there any board member discussion on the May 2025 meeting minutes? Identify yourself. Yes,
Just one,
identify, Bob.
Robert David, board member. It notes in the minutes that I voted no on the February 7th meeting. I didn't attend the February 7th meeting, so I abstained. So if
So
they could
noted.
make that change.
Can we pause for a second? We have some technical.
And Dr. Forge, if you could wave and let us know that you're back online.
Pictures there.
Uh-oh.
See pictures. We still have a quorum, don't we? Can't we keep going?
There is that wave. No, there's something where she's not connecting. Got it. Okay, let's continue with board member discussions on the meeting materials. Dr. Felsenfeld.
Good morning and good morning, everyone. Alan Felsenfeld. If you'll turn your attention to page 8 of the minutes and item number 15, agenda item 15, recess of the open session. We've worked hard at the board, but we have never worked till midnight. I believe that's a typographical error. That should be 11:59 a.m. I can move myself over here. I don't think anyone has to hear. It should be an AM, not a PM.
Thank you. Any other board member discussions on the meeting minutes? Okay, let's move forward. And is there a motion and second to approve the May 14, 15, 2025 meeting as amended?
You
And-
motion.
You? And then please state your name and motion. So it was who? As corrected. And who was the first? Who moved it?
You and Medina.
Okay, you and Medina. Okay,
Seconded, yeah, I will now call the roll for meeting minutes.
okay, yes. Are there any in-person public comments? Okay, let's do that. If there's any other board member comments on the motion, seeing none, then is there any in-person public comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx?
Thank
The
you.
moderator, go ahead.
Yes, this is the moderator. If anyone has a comment on the motion or the minutes, please you may click the hand icon to raise your hand. Call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the motion or the minutes? I do not see any raised hands. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Board Secretary, please call the roll and record the votes for this agenda item.
Okay, this is to approve the meeting minutes of May 14 and 15. Chan,
Chan, aye.
Chan, I, Cheng,
Chang, aye.
Cheng, I, David,
David, aye.
David, I, Dirking,
King abstain.
abstain, Dirking, Felsenfeld,
Aye.
Felsenfeld, I, Forge. Forge,
Forge absent.
absent, Larin, I, Medina,
Medina, I.
Medina, I, Olage,
Olagi, I.
Olage, I, Thakur, Thakur, abstain, and you,
You I.
you, I. Yes, the
Motion passes. Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 4, Board President Report. We're on page 34 of the meeting minutes. Next part's kind of tough for me. It is with great sadness that we have to report the unexpected and sudden passing of our colleague, Bruce Witcher. Bruce was formerly a board member and president of the Dental Board of California. Bruce and I have shared a lot of trails together in our leadership over 20 years. On behalf of our board members, past and present, and the entire crew of the Dental Board who worked with him, we share our grief with his family. He touched a lot of lives. Thank you. We want to welcome our new board member, John Dierking. And we onboarded with him on 7/15/2025. And John, can you give a little introduction? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chan. I come from the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians, and it was in this very room 3 months ago where I was saying farewell to my old colleagues. It was a very, very bittersweet moment. I had no idea that the future would now introduce me to this wonderful world of new friends and colleagues on the dental board. My interest really in healthcare, the healing arts and professions and sciences started at a very early age. My father
Robert, of blessed memory, was a career civil servant, and he instilled in me this desire to promote the public good and policy. My mother, Lee, also of blessed memory, was a registered nurse. She had been licensed for nearly 60 years. And it was through her influence, her direction, that it got me started on a vocational path. I was privileged enough to hear something from the Dental Assisting Council this morning. I understand the value and the importance of vocational education. Through my mother's influence, I became a certified nurse's aide more than 12 years ago. And I worked my way through high school and college assisting the elderly. And I understand the importance of the integration of didactic and clinical education. And it was really wonderful to see really the fruits of that labor. I attended some of the CE, continuing education programs, with my mother. And it really, really influenced me to really promote the common good, especially in the areas of healthcare and public policy. And for that, I am forever grateful to the involvement of my parents. I did serve on the Board of Vocational Nursing for 2 terms. And so my term ended June 1st of this year. And I look forward to moving forward with some of the challenges but of facing the dental board. But isn't that the beauty of the challenges we have in life? The wonderful friends and colleagues that we walk on this journey with. And so as I'm thinking that my meeting here in May was the completion of a circle, it's really a continuing circle, or we might say it's an expansion of 3D imaging to a global sense. And so I look forward to contributing however I can. And I thank you very, very much. I've already met a quorum of our members here. And I thank you very, very much for your onboarding and your welcome, Ms. Bell, Dr. Felsenfeld, and Dr. Chan, and new colleagues. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, John. Let's see, let's go on. We are pleased to announce the recent, very, very recent appointment by Governor Newsom of Dr. Gruhl. Her first name is Jaskiran, to the dental board, and we look forward to have her joining our team. We've had ongoing weekly briefings with the interim executive officer, Christy Bell, we meaning the vice president, Dr. Felsenfeld, and I. And we thank Christy for her work. There's always someone that knows in any organization where everything is, how we got there, and then all the relationships. And Christy has done a terrific, terrific job. Thank you, Christy. On June 17th, I attended by Zoom an all DCA board leadership quarterly quorum where they give briefings from all the different healthcare boards and commissions. On the executive officer search, the authority was delegated to the ExCom, or executive committee. We've had an ongoing receipt of applications through DCA to the end of June. We extended our outreach for notice of the recruitment beyond just DCA's notices through the American Association of Dental Boards across the country. So we initiated contact and established a relationship with them. We've had preliminary assessment of 37 to 38 applicants. We have interfaced with DCA Director Kirschmeyer on the status of where we are on this. The executive committee is scheduled to have preliminary screening interviews on August 21st, next Thursday. We've had an interim authority delegated to the executive committee on some legislative decisions, and Brett Nelson's going to help us with some of those later on. We've had ongoing discussions with our role on the anesthesia committee. We've also initiated an outreach to the 7 California dental school deans for informing them of the faculty appointment to the dental board. There is, by statute, one of the dental board openings that is identified for a faculty member. But we've also initiated this outreach for relationships so that we can also have the discourse and resource of the dental schools in California. Let's see. The next item is on July 19th. Interim Executive Officer Bell and I offered testimony at the Dental Hygiene Board with our former dental board member, Joanne Pacheco, who is now the chair of that board. Thank you, Tony. The next thing is that we are establishing two subcommittee formations and appointments. The first one is the fictitious name permits and additional office permit committee. This board committee will review all relevant statutes and regulations related to the fictitious name and additional office permits and possibly propose amendments to the legislation for clarity and purpose. I've appointed Dr. Yogita Thakur as chair and Dr. James Yu as the secondary member of that subcommittee. And then we have a second subcommittee, the Dental School Approval Committee. This board committee will review all statutory and regulatory elements for dental school requirements. We've appointed Mr. Kevin Cheng as the chair and Dr. Joni Forge as the secondary member of this committee. Is there any board members discussion on the report? Seeing none. This report is informational, so no action is required at this time. Is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none. Is there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA monitor, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the report, you may look for the hand icon and click that. Or if you are a call-in user, you may press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 30-second warning. Are there any comments on the report? I do not see any hands raised. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to agenda item 5, interim executive officer report. We're on page 35 of the meeting materials. Going to ask Christy Bell, interim executive officer, to present this report.
Thank you. Christy Bell, interim executive officer. Before I begin my report, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the great work that the dental board staff has been doing. As we went through graduation season this year, licensing staff were able to stay within 30 days of receipt of application to process these apps. As long as I've been at the board, we have never done that. So a huge kudos to the staff. They truly keep things running smoothly and have been amazing to work with. The board is currently in the recruitment process for 5 vacant positions. These are all at various stages of the recruitment process. In the May meeting, I reported about a return to office mandate that was set to go in place on July 1st of 2025 that would require board staff to report to the office 4 days a week. The implementation of that order has been delayed to July 1st of 2026. Staff are continuing their current telework schedules. An update on our current strategic planning process is that the external stakeholders survey closed on June 23rd, 2025. We received a total of 996 responses. Board members and dental board management were interviewed and a survey went out to staff. All these responses totaled 56, and a special shout out to the board members for everyone responding. Solid is currently drafting the environmental scan, which consists of summaries of everyone's responses to the questions. The board members should expect to receive this report mid-October before the November 5th strategic planning session. At this time, I would like to take some time to acknowledge and introduce our new board staff. We haven't done this in a while, so we do have quite a few. And I would like to begin with introducing Albert Law. He is currently our Enforcement Division Administrator. He comes to us, he was previously the Assistant Executive Officer for the Dental Hygiene Board. Thank you, Tony. And he is going, do you have any staff here today to introduce? No, not today. Albert Law. Okay.
Morning.
Our next introduction is Kelly Fairless. She is our new licensing examination unit manager. She has previous licensing experience with another board, and we're very excited to have her with us. Wilbur?
Good morning. Good morning, board members. From the Administrative Services Unit, I'd like to introduce my team. First of all, I'd like to introduce Matthew Katzman. Matthew joined us on March 17th. He graduated from UC Davis with a bachelor's degree. He came to us from the Department of Motor Vehicles in the Autonomous Vehicles branch, and he was there for almost 6 years. Currently, he's our personnel liaison that works on personnel paperwork and any complex personnel matters that we encounter. He's also the backup for our facilities position, but I'd like to welcome Matthew. Next up, I'd like to welcome Nikita Dean. Nikita started with the board on July 1st. She graduated from CSU San Bernardino with a bachelor's and a master's. She comes to us from the U.S. Department of the Interior, and she worked at the U.S. Geological Survey / Western Ecological Research Center. She was there for approximately 1.5 years, and she is our IT specialist. Currently, our big project right now is getting new laptops for the staff, and she's been an integral part of that process, and we welcome her aboard.
Paige, will you introduce your staff, please?
Good morning, Paige.
Morning.
He's
He's a little shy, don't mind him. Good morning, board members. My name is Paige Regali. I'm the Chief of Administration and Compliance here at the board. I've been here for quite a while. I know most of you. So I just wanted to come today to introduce Nahandi. He is one of our newer analysts in our complaint compliance unit. He was previously with the board in our licensing and examination unit. So he's kind of very well-rounded, has a lot of knowledge about different processes in different areas. He's been back at the board now for how long? 9 months now, so he's fairly still new. In the complaint compliance unit, he obtains all of the records, does a desk analysis of the different complaints, works with our different consultants for seeing if cases warrant further investigation or not. So they're a big part in our enforcement process. So welcome to Nahandi.
Welcome.
Is Tavy here today? Okay, that concludes our introductions today and my interim executive officer report. This was informational only.
Thank you. Before we go on, Dr. Forge, are you with us now?
I have been for a little bit here. I had technical difficulties earlier and had to log off and log back on, but I had email Muriel to let her know that.
Great, thank you. So Dr. Forge is with us now. Thank you for your reports, Ms. Bell. And I have to offer this. Until I've gotten into this part of the role, do we realize how complex the agency is, how many moving parts are going on all at the same time, and then how big the universe of what we have to regulate. So I have to thank Christy. I have to thank the management staff. I have to thank all of you. The work is there. It's big. So thank you for that. Is there any other board member discussion? Seeing none, are there any in-person public comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DC moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. If anyone has any comment on the interim executive officer report, you may look for the hand icon, typically at the bottom of your WebEx screen or behind the three-dot other options if you're on a mobile device. And if our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the assistant EO report? I do not see any hands raised. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 6A, status update on pending regulations. We're on page 36 of the meeting materials. I'm going to ask Brent Nelson, Legislative and Regulatory Specialist, to present this agenda item. Brent, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Board President. I'm just going to give a quick update on our rulemaking to amend California Code of Regulations, Title 16, Section 1005, regarding the minimum standards for infection control. The proposed text was approved by the Dental Board at its May meeting, and board staff submitted the proposed text to the Dental Hygiene Board. And at their meeting on July 19th, 2025, the Dental Hygiene Board of California approved the Dental Board's approved text and thereby reached consensus with the board. Board staff will now take the necessary steps to begin the rulemaking process. I am currently working with our Regulation Counsel, Ms. Christy Shield, to develop the initial documents for that rulemaking. It's going to be a very voluminous document. There's a lot of CDC research, a lot of really interesting things in the underlying data. So this is a project that's going to take some months to create. But that is the current status, and that is all I have for this item. This is an information-only item. No action is requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Is there any board member discussion? And in that note, this report is, according to Mr. Nelson, informational. There's no action requested at this time. So is there any board member discussion? Seeing none, is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment on the item 6A1, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3. We do have a request for comment from Leslie Canham. Leslie, I'm going to send you a request to unmute your mic. You'll get a pop-up on your screen. You will click unmute me.
Hello, this is Leslie Canham. I'm a certified dental assistant, registered dental assistant, and certified in dental infection prevention and control, as well as being authorized by the federal government as an OSHA outreach trainer. I did have a comment to make on the proposed infection control minimum standards on attachment 2, which is the board meeting notes, or page 87. And there's an item here, 14, what was 14E. It's apparently now it's looks like it's 8E, and it is the second to the last paragraph on the page about non-critical surfaces and patient care items. And then there's the word shall be cleaned with and disinfected after every use with a registered hospital grade low-level disinfectant. And my concern is does it mean that you cannot use a intermediate level disinfectant? When does this mean you have to buy 2 different products? It's going to be very confusing to the end user. Many disinfectants that are used in dental practices today are intermediate level disinfectants. And with the words shall be low level, that's instructing dental practices to purchase an additional product that meets that low level, which is inferior to an intermediate level disinfectant. I would like to add that to the notes so that it says at minimum, intermediate level disinfectant.
So noted.
for
30
non-critical.
seconds.
So noted.
Thank you.
And if I may just make a comment, in terms of anything that the text has been approved and we've reached consensus, but I want to emphasize the important fact that as we develop the text and as we develop these regulations, there will be an opportunity to insert and change things as we deem appropriate. We want to, engage and do all that. And so there will be a period of time when, the language will come back and we will have to look at it if there are lots of comments and we decide to do substantive changes. So I just wanted to give that update, and that was from our Regulations Council. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question?
Can I just clarify that comment real quick? The text is written. It's going to go through the public comment process once the rulemaking file is drafted and submitted. The board will make an announcement about the 45-day public comment period. At that point, the board will welcome public comments on potential changes to the text. So, Ms. Canham, please keep an eye out for the 45-day public comment period and submit your comments at that time.
Go ahead, Bob.
She answered my question.
Got it. Thank you. And it is helpful to have the comments in writing addressed to us. Thank you. Any other public comments from the individuals via WebEx? Moderator?
No further hands raised.
Terrific. All right, let's continue. Let's go on to agenda item 6A II. Now, hold on, this is a big one. Discussion and possible action to reconsider previously approved text and to consider initiation of a rulemaking to amend CCR Title 16, Sections 1021, 1028, 1028.4, 1028.5, 1030, and 1035, and repeal sections 1032, 1032.1, 1032.2, 1032.3, 1032.4, 1032.5, 1032.6, 1032.7, 1032.8, 1032.9, 1032.10, 1033.1, 1034, and 1036.01 regarding applications to dentist licensure and fees. We're on page 37 to 112. Okay, we're going to ask Mr. Nelson to present this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. This rulemaking was approved by the board at its February meeting. Board staff presented the rulemaking proposal to update the board's application regulations for licensure by examination and other applications for dentist licensure to reflect changes in law and regulations and changes to the licensing units, processes, and procedures. A summary of the previously proposed changes can be found within the February board meeting materials. Since that time, board staff have drafted an initial rulemaking package, which includes the proposed text, notice, and initial statement of reasons, and explaining the regulation's purpose and impact. This package is currently undergoing internal review. Basically what we've done is we've gone through, and this is not uncommon, this is a very lengthy process, and we have to have a lot of people review this. And in the course and scope of that review, oftentimes things, although maybe not so exciting, but are important, are recognized, and I've listed them here. I will not take up the board's valuable time by going through them, but all 8 categories of changes are articulated here for you on pages 37 and 38. And I do apologize to the board for the lengthy motion language, but it is necessary. We are asking that the board take action because this is now being improved upon, we need the new text that is improved, approved. And so the action requested is that we are asking the board to review the proposed regulatory text and attachments and basically option one, which is proceed with our text. And you would need to basically read option one, move to rescind the prior board's February 2025 motion approving the prior text for this item and instead approve the proposed regulatory text in attachment one, including the repeal of the forms incorporated by reference in attachments 2 through 6. So if you read option one, I apologize for the amount of words, but that's what we're asking you to do.
Thank you. Is there any board member discussion before we move it? Seeing none. So can I have a motion and a second, please? State your name and motion or second.
Really quickly, Christy Shields, Regulations Counsel for the board. Just to restate that we apologize for bringing this back again, but there were some mistakes that were caught when we were undergoing internal review. And so we're bringing these back to sort of clean up those mistakes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shields. So can we make a motion?
You have to read the whole thing twice.
Yes, please.
This is Dr. Larina. Make a motion to move to option one, move to rescind the board's prior February 6, 7, 2025 motion approving prior text for this item and instead approve the proposed regulatory text in attachment one, including the repeal of the forms incorporated by reference in attachments 2 through 6. I further direct staff to submit the text to the Director of the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency for review. If no adverse comments are received, authorize the interim executive officer to take all steps necessary to initiate the rulemaking process, make any non-substantive changes to the text and the package, and set the matter for a hearing if requested. If after the 45-day public comment period, no adverse comments are received and no public hearing is requested, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to complete the rulemaking and adopt the proposed regulations as noticed for CCR Title 16 for amendments to sections 1021, 1028, 1028.4, 1028.5, 1030, and 1035, and for the repeal of sections 1032, 1032.1, 1032.2, 1032.3, 1032.4, 1032.5, 1032.6, 1032.7, 1032.8, 1032.9, 1032.10, 1033.1, and 1034 and 1036.01. Motion made.
So Lauren made the motion,
I'll second it. Felsenfeld, second.
Felsenfeld second. Are there any in-person public comments? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment on the issue or the motion, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 30-second warning. Are there any comments on the motion? I do not see any requests for comment. I turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Secretary. Please call the roll and record the votes for this agenda item.
Motion is for option one as stated earlier by myself. I'll call the roll. Chan?
Can I?
Chan, I. Cheng?
Chang, aye. Aye.
David, I. Dierking?
Dear King, aye.
Dierking, I. Felsenfeld?
Felsenfeld, aye.
Felsenfeld, I. Forge?
Forge, aye.
Forge, I. Larin, I. Medina?
Medina, I.
Medina, I. Olage? Thakur? Thakur, I. You?
UI.
You, I. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 7, report on the Department of Consumer Affairs DCA activities, which may include updates on DCA's administrative services, human Resources, Enforcement, Information Technology, Communications and Outreach, as well as the Legislative, Regulatory, and Policy Matters. We're on page 113 of the meeting materials. Going to ask the DCA Board and Bureau Relations representative to provide this report, and please give your name.
Hi, good
Welcome.
morning. Can everyone hear me? Is that? Hello?
Yes.
Better?
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Judy Bucciarelli of the California Department of Consumer Affairs Board and Bureau Relations, and thank you for the opportunity to join your meeting today. Before I begin my report, I'd like to welcome new member John Deerking to the board. And I'd also like to welcome member Gruwald to the board. She may be watching, so.
Thank you.
Okay, I do want to say I'll be omitting my piece that I have on hybrid telework transition since Christy included that in her interim executive officer report. Okay, first I'd like to give you an update on the governor's reorganization plan. In January, Governor Newsom released his proposed 2025-26 state budget, which included a proposal to split DCA's oversight agency, the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency, into two state agencies, the California Housing and Homelessness Agency and the Business and Consumer Services Agency. After public hearings and review by the Little Hoover Commission and the legislature, I am pleased to share that the governor's reorganization plan was enacted on July 5th of this year. Again, the new Business and Consumer Services Agency will be responsible for consumer affairs, licensing, and enforcement, and the Department of Consumer Affairs would be among 8 departments in this new agency. The two new agencies will officially become operative on July 1st, 2026. DCA is participating in multiple agency work groups on the logistics required to transition to the new agency and will continue to keep board and bureau leadership apprised throughout the year ahead. Next, I have a few travel updates. On June 9th, 2025, the Department of Finance issued guidance for out-of-state travel in the upcoming fiscal year. Travel outside of California will be limited to essential travel that is required to conduct state business, meaning requests should only be made for mission-critical needs. DCA distributed a memo to all boards and bureaus on June 16th detailing the criteria for mission-critical travel, including but not limited to enforcement actions, revenue collection, statutory requirements, auditing, and litigation. Additionally, all requests must be provided to DCA's budget office 8 weeks in advance to allow for review by DCA, agency, and the governor's office. If there are any questions, please contact your assigned budget analyst at DCA. We would also like to remind board members and staff of our collective responsibility to always work to minimize the costs to the state through responsible travel planning and scheduling. To best serve the public, it is incumbent upon all of us to ensure that we are being fiscally prudent in our decisions, especially when traveling for board business. DCA is reminding members and staff to evaluate if a rental car is always necessary versus ride-sharing services. Carpooling is also highly encouraged when renting vehicles. We also know there may be new travel costs board members are experiencing as well, such as baggage charges. So we remind you to please keep receipts to ensure that you can be reimbursed. If you have any questions regarding travel, please reach out to memberrelations@dca.ca.gov so we may assist you. And my final item is regarding the annual report. Finally, the annual report is one of DCA's biggest projects. Staff work on this report throughout the year, gathering information and statistical data in order to compile a comprehensive report about the department's actions to submit to the legislature. On behalf of the director, thank you to the board staff for your efforts and contributions. The annual report will be published to the DCA website this summer. It has a wealth of information and memorializes all the great work done by so many throughout the department. DCA encourages board members to take the time to review and use it as a resource. In closing, thank you again for the opportunity to join your meeting today. This concludes my report, and at this time, I'll turn the floor back to President Chan, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bucciarelli. The report is informational. No action is necessary at this time, but is there any board member discussion? Seeing none. Is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the DCA report, you may look for the hand icon and click that, and our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments on the DCA report? I do not see any raised hands. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. It's a little after 12, and let's go ahead and take a lunch break until 12:45? Till 12:45. Thank you. We are back in session. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, thank you. The origins of this apparently actually comes from the Norse god Thor, where when he banged his hammer, people paid attention. All right, let's see. We're back in session, and now we're going to talk about money. So we're going to have the budget report, agenda item 8, budget report, pages 114 to 119. Going to ask Mr. Wilbert Ramboa, Administrative Services Unit Manager, to present this agenda item. Welcome, Wilbert.
Good afternoon, board members. Again, this is Wilbert Rambawa, Administrative Services Unit Manager. I'll be providing your update for the board's budget for the fiscal year ending in 24-25 and then beginning 25-26. So unfortunately, we didn't get the books cleared out for fiscal year 24-25, but the projected amount, that we have spent for 24-25 is the appropriation of 19.8 million. And let me see if I can get my glasses to get this here. So of that amount, 10.3 million was spent for personnel services and 8.3 was, yes, 8.5 was for operating equipment expenses. With that, the board is reverting approximately 1.7 million for fiscal year 24-25. In addition to that, for the dental board loan of $5 million, I'm happy to report that it was repaid as of June 30th, 2025. The approximate interest earned on that is $160,000. For additionally, on that, for the revenues, the board collected approximately 20.7 million in revenues. 3.7 million is from initial licensing, and then 15.1 was from the license renewals. Moving on to fiscal year 25-26, the Budget Act was released on July 1st, 2025, and the board's budget for 25-26 is $20.6 million, and the projected revenue is 19.082. This report is informational. And no action is needed at this time. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to assist.
Okay, thank you for your report. Is there any board member discussion? Go ahead.
Thank you for the report. Just a quick-
Identify.
Larin. Oh, okay. No, oh, I'm so happy we got the money back, but but the interest, they're gonna hold off on it until the end of the year?
No,
That's what it says, something about the final report on. or did they
so
pay
we
that
won't
back?
get the exact numbers. So I provided an
160,000.
estimate. So the books, the fiscal year end was June 30th.
Mhm.
So I don't have all the reports from the department at this time. So we provided an estimate, but it was again, it was repaid as of,
Those were paid also.
it was
the-
repaid already
The interest.
with interest.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Any other board discussion? All right, seeing none, are there any in-person public comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the budget report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Those connected via a mobile device may find the hand icon behind the three-dot other options button. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the budget report? I do not see any raised hands. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 9, Dental Assisting Council Meeting Report, page 120. I'm going to ask Ms. Deandra Elps Robbins, Chair of the Dental Assisting Council, to present this agenda item. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Deandra Epps Robbins.
Mic closer.
So with the Dental Assisting Council today, the Dental Board of California met this morning. After calling the meeting to order and establishing a quorum, public comment was taken. The May meeting minutes were approved. The interim executive officer's report on items including the upcoming statistic planning process and updates were provided by board staff and on dental assisting examination, licensing and programs and approved and course approvals. A brief update was given on the actions taken by the dental assisting working group since the last council meeting, and feedback was provided to the working group on the legislation proposal, which was revised to include amendments to additional statutes. Finally, an update was provided on the RDA General Written Law and Ethics Examination and board staff reporting on pending legislation and regulations. And then we adjourned our meeting.
Thank
So that was
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. And it is informational. There's no action necessary at this time. Is there any board member discussion? Seeing none. Is there any in-person public comments? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the Dental Assisting Council report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the report? I do not see any raised hands. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 10A, update on dental licensure and permit statistics, pages 121 to 132 of the meeting materials. Going to ask Ms. Jody Ortiz, Chief of Licensing and Examination Division, to present this agenda item. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So thank you, Dr. Chan. My name, as you mentioned, is Jody Ortiz, and I am the Chief of Licensing and Examination Division. And I will be presenting Agenda Item 10A, which begins on page 121 of your meeting materials. So as you can see here, we've updated the format for you just to kind of make it easier for review. However, the statistics are still the same. Just wanted to provide you a nice, prettier look. On page 127 of your meeting materials, this includes information from our last occupational analysis done by the Office of Professional Examination Services in 2024, and the next will be held on 2029. And then beginning on page 130 of your meeting materials, the table provides statistics on current and active licenses by county and on the population per dental license from fiscal year 22-23 through June 30th of 2025. Yuba County has the highest population per dentist, and both Sierra and Alpine counties continue to have the lowest population per dentist. There's no action requested, and this concludes my agenda item.
Thank you. There's no, this report is informational, no action necessary at this time. I have to compliment your division by adding the materials on a graph basis. It tells us where
Thank you.
prior to this, it was snapshots in time,
Mhm.
but now we see trends, and we see trends and how to act on those trends.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that.
You're
Is there any
welcome.
other board member discussion? Seeing none. Is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none, you're getting away with this. Is there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator, and if anyone has any comments on the licensing and permit statistics, you can look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand, and our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the report? I do not see any requests for comment. I'll turn the meeting back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to item number 10B, report on the Commission of Dental Competency Assessment, Western Regional Examining Board, and the Council of Interstate Testing Agencies, CDCA, REB, and CITA. We're on page 133 of the meeting materials. Going to ask the rep from CDCA, REB, and CITA to provide the report on this agenda item. Oh, is Dr. Champagne?
Yes.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Is it possible for me to share my screen? I have a short PowerPoint.
You got it.
We do have the PowerPoint. Would that be all right if I move slides for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Super.
Oh, great. So I'm happy to be here today giving you an update on this year. Actually, there's quite a few changes unlike last year. So we'll get right into it. The next slide really shows the acceptance of the ADEX exam. And really what that shows is that every jurisdiction except for New York and Delaware, so 51 out of 53 jurisdictions accept the ADEX exam. In addition to that, it is required for licensure in Jamaica. We administer it in some dental schools in Canada and Mexico, and starting January, Saudi Arabia. So it is truly taking off as an international examination. The next slide, though, shows some evolutionary changes that is happening with ADEX itself. When ADEX was formulated in 2003, there were 16 different testing agencies in dentistry. And so it really was created to accommodate that. So in other words, there would be a separate entity controlled by the dental boards that would do content scoring and criteria and offer it to the testing agencies that wanted to give up their own exams and administer the ADEX exam. Well, we're over 20 years later. It is a whole different environment. The three largest testing agencies have, for the public good and for uniformity in the profession, have merged. They test 99.5% of all the graduates in the United States. Actually, it's higher than that. They test all but about 120 graduates. They're in every dental school. And so after next week, ADEX will be merged into CDCA. Rebsita. That word salad name will go away, and they'll be functioning as the American Board of Dental Examiners. The Examination Development Committee, however, will function exactly as it does now. In other words, the dental boards directly make the appointments to the Dental and Dental Hygiene Examination Committee. Those representatives of the dental board decide on content scoring and criteria. They have absolute authority. The rest of the organization has no say in that content scoring and criteria. The rest of it is administrative, but there will no longer be this word salad. Everything will be uniform. So the examination and the entity, American Board of Dental Examiners, will all be one. That should happen at the end of next week. The CWC side has already approved it. The Board of Directors at ADEX have, so it's final ratification this coming week. And on our next slide, we have other changes in the examination because we have just completed the occupational analysis, as I reported on previously. That's done every 5 to 7 years. And because of that, there are significant changes in the content of the exam. So in prosthodontics, we used to have a cast metal crown and a porcelain fused to metal. Those go away. Entry-level dentists don't do them. There'll be 2 posterior zirconia crowns on a premolar and a molar. The full porcelain crown on the anterior stays. And also of interest, especially to me as an oral surgeon, I've been waiting for a long time, but it has not happened. Entry-level dentists and dentists still do 3-unit bridges. So they make the cut score, so that will be on there as well. There are some criteria changes to composites, anterior and posterior. However, those are they're not significant changes. They're just refining the existing criteria for evaluation. The next slide, though, does show a significant change. For 18 years, periodontal scaling and probing has not made the occupational analysis for dentists. However, this year, this occupational analysis round, it did. Now, that's a huge change. It's a huge change because the examination the practical examination is not comprehensive enough to fulfill that requirement. We think that has changed because of both workforce issues and the change in practice in DSOs, where entry-level dentists are doing scaling and pocket depth measurements. As a result, the examination has undergone a total rehaul. There is a section on calculus detection. There is a calculus removal section. It is very different from what is being done now. They have to clean a quadrant. There are 12 surfaces which do not know where they are, that are assigned for emphasis grading as well as additional calculus deposits. So it's much more realistic on how it is done, and they will have to do probing. So the hand skills examination has been totally overhauled, is far more comprehensive. That begins in July 1st. So these changes that you're seeing come about July 1st, so that this academic year, they're taking the same examination through the retakes. Next slide shows us the performance of the examination. Oh, no, this is the schedule for California schools. As you can see, it's quite comprehensive. Retakes are always offered in their school, that their home school. So at least one retake is always offered. And more of the schools are moving into a curriculum integrated format where they're separating out the components, where they're not doing this all at once. The next slide shows the actual performance of the hand skills exam that we have, and you'll see there's about 6,700 of the cohort that came into these statistics. We actually test about 7,200 candidates. Endodontics continues to be the most challenging portion of the examination. It's interesting. They know the working length of the tooth, and the number one cause of not being successful on the endodontic exam is overfill. The rest of the components function fairly consistently at a higher level, but you can see those first time pass rates there. The ultimate pass rate, the question I always get asked is what happens at the end of this examination process? How many candidates are unsuccessful? And it varies by year, anywhere from about 0.5% to 2%, depending on the year. There's no consistent pattern there, but that comports pretty well along with other high stakes healthcare licensing examinations like the USMLE and the NCLEX exam for nursing. Next slide shows the performance of California schools compared to the cohort. Very happy to report to you that you're either equal or better than all the other schools in the country. So the California dental schools are doing a very good job. And I think that is the last slide. And I did not want to take up more of the time than I needed to. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about anything I've covered.
Well, thank you for the presentation. You've seen an evolution of the board examinations. I'm old enough to remember gold foil.
I did a gold foil.
We've come a
Probably the
long way
oldest
since
person
then.
here. Did a gold foil and gold inlay and amalgam. I did a denture impression, set the maxillary teeth, did arch relations and scaled an arch, and cast and cemented the inlay.
And nightmares still come 40 years later, 50 years later. So,
Oh,
thank
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Is there any board member discussion? Go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Champagne, this is Dr. Larin. Okay, I have a question about the statistics for exams. Is that after the first exam or repeats, the final?
No,
score?
that the pass rates I gave you are initial pass rates.
And for the second attempt? Do you have?
Well, yeah, that's when I gave for the ultimate pass rate, the about half to 1.5% of candidates will not be successful.
How much? How much did you say?
0.5 to 1.5% of candidates
Will not be successful after the
will
second
not be
attempt.
Yes, after a second attempt.
Second attempt. Okay, also a question about the name of the exam. I know, are we gonna still have ADEX as the name of the exam? Because I know that's the one that's approved in California, or is the?
Absolutely. The name of the examination remains the same as the ADEX exam.
Just the organization name is gonna change, is that correct?
Well, ADEX is actually the acronym for the American Board of Dental Examiners.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
nobody's ever used that name very often because it's such a long name. It's like the National Board of Medical Examiners goes by the NBME. So actually, it is the ADEX side that those names are taking over the whole process.
That means we don't have to go back and correct our books, right?
That's correct. It's going to be the ADEX exam.
Thank you.
Well, just a question. if
Go
I
ahead,
may,
identify.
Dr. Chan.
John,
On
John,
behalf of,
identify yourself first.
yeah, I'm sorry, John Deerking here. As a public member and also consumer, I find it astonishing that periodontal probing was not included in previous iterations. And Dr. Champagne, can you just talk for a moment for the public about the significance of periodontal probing in oral and dental care?
Well, and that's a great question. The inclusion of a hand skills exam in doing periodontal probing is not a relationship to its importance. The importance is undisputed, and the importance of periodontal health is undisputed. It's just that we have to do an occupational analysis every 5 to 7 years, and we test candidates on what they do. The reason it was never included is because dental hygienists did that in the office. for periodontal charting rather than dentists, but that has changed. And so now we have to actually test dentists in doing it. We used to do it, if we go back 18 years ago, that was the case then as well. We tested dentists. It's just a change in workforce assignments. It's sort of like if you were a radiologist, medical radiologist, very few of them take the film itself. Radiation technologists take it. So what the radiology boards are on interpretation, invasive radiology, things that they do. But if they took the x-rays, they'd be tested on that as well.
Thank you, Dr. Champagne. Dr. Chan, I just have one comment. This truly speaks to the evolving exam and professional entry requirements in the interest of consumer protection. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other board discussion? Seeing none. Is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none. Is there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. If anyone has a comment on the presentation, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand, and calling users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the presentation? I do not see any requests for comment. I turn that back to you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Champlain.
Thank you very much for your time.
Let's move on to agenda item 11A, enforcement review of statistics and trends, page 134 through 141. Going to ask Inspector Ryan Blanian, Enforcement Chief, to present this agenda item. Good morning. Good afternoon, rather.
Sir, I believe your microphone is muted. We're not hearing your voice.
Yeah, on the side. There you go.
I thought if I was loud, it would be enough.
Thank you. Not for WebEx.
I know, that makes it tough. Our statistics are here. I just wanted to briefly say that we have an office in Orange. We have an office in Sacramento, a little bit south of Bakersfield. The state is split. Bakersfield-ish north, the Sacramento office handles. Bakersfield south, the Orange office handles. So on any given day, the investigators in north can be in San Luis Obispo, one up in Wairika, and another one in the Bay Area. And similarly in Orange, they don't travel such a great distance, but the density makes their travel time probably worse on some of their things. So when you're looking at these statistics, geographically, we're organized, and there could be quite a bit of travel and repeat trips, and as varied and as different as many of the cases and investigations are, that's kind of how we're organized. So if there's any questions, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Robert David, why would any investigations take 2 to 3 years? There's 32% are taking 2 to 3 years. Why would that be?
Well, I can give you an example of a case where you're waiting on a coroner report, you're waiting on death certificates, interviews with people involved, attorneys get involved. They don't schedule as conveniently as we would like. Then you send that all off to an expert. Sometimes you get voluminous documentation with depositions that have to be reviewed, and it all takes time. It can take 8-10 months up to a year to get a coroner report on a case. So that can be it. Other parts of it are, sometimes they're in queue and they wait until it's that case's turn to get worked. But there's a variety of reasons why it can take 2 years to get a case done.
Any other board discussion? Board comments? So the report is informational. There's no action necessary at this time. Are there any in-person public comments? Come on up, Sherry.
Hello.
Sherry Becker. I just had a question, a clarification on page I guess it's 135 of the board materials, and it's referring to the complaint cases received. And the question is about the RDA complaints. I guess there were 73, and then under the other category. So with the RDA complaints, just wondering what some of those complaints might have been. And also the other, like what is other?
Sure.
mean?
So RDA complaints typically are working out of scope or exceeding their authority. Some of the RDA complaints are out and out unlicensed. And then other, that could be somebody who's got a fictitious name permit and the person made the complaint and only knows, I went to Happy Buddy Dental and I don't know the name of the doctor, so it gets opened under that name. It could be somebody who doesn't have a license that the complaint is open up on. And it can also be the wrong identified person. So I went to Dr. Smith. Well, you open up the thing and there's 100 Dr. Smiths. So you can't nail it down when the complaint is open.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other in-person comment? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the enforcement report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the enforcement report? I do not see any requests to comment. I will turn it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Balanian, and thank your crew for the work that your crew does.
Very
Thank
well.
you. All right, let's move on to agenda item 12A, diversion program report and statistics. We're on page 142 of this meeting materials. I'm going to ask Ms. Bell to present this agenda item.
Thank you. Christy Bell, Interim Executive Officer. I'm presenting on the Diversion Program Report and Statistics. These statistics are for the quarter ending June 30th and are provided on page 142 of your meeting materials. The Diversion Evaluation Committee met in person at the Dental Board of California's Sacramento office on both April 2nd and July 2nd of 2025. The next quarterly meeting is scheduled for October 1st, 2025. As of January 1st this year, Premier Health Group has assumed the administration of the Diversion Recovery Program, and this item is informational only. There is no action required.
Thank you. Is there any board member discussion? Seeing none. Is there any in-person public comments? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the diversion program report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the report? I do not see any requests for comment. I will turn it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 13A, general anesthesia and sedation permits, inspections, and evaluation statistics. We're on page 143 to 153 of the meeting materials. I'm going to ask Jessica Olney, anesthesia unit manager, to present this agenda item. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Chan, and good afternoon, members of the board. My name's Jessica Olney. I'm the anesthesia unit manager. And before you is agenda item 13, which begins on page 143 of your meeting materials. The memo provides a statistical overview of the board administered on-site inspections and evaluations. Excuse me. These are for general anesthesia, medical general anesthesia, and moderate sedation permits. Also on page 153 is the current evaluator pool, or the number of evaluators in our pool. This is provided as informational, but I am available for any questions you might have.
Are there any board member discussions or questions? Seeing none, let's go on to any in-person comments. Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate these lines for public comment.
Certainly, if anyone would like to make a comment on the anesthesia and sedation report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And call-in users can press *3 to raise your hand. Any comments on the report? I do not see any raised hands. I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 13B, discussion and possible action on recommendation from the board's anesthesia committee regarding renewal of moderate sedation permit following failure of on-site inspections and evaluations. We're on page 154 to 156 of the meeting materials. Ms. Olney, can you do the initial presentation?
I can introduce initially. Thank you. Again, Jessica Olney with the anesthesia unit. Just to provide some background, the moderate sedation permit holders are required to pass an on-site inspection and evaluation every 6 years to maintain their permit. Before you is a permit holder who's identified as CS. This individual was evaluated and found to have failed twice in the simulated emergencies portion of the evaluation. I met with the anesthesia committee on, July 18th to discuss this, and I'll let Dr. Felsenfeld provide some more information on that recommendation to the board.
Ellen Felsenfeld. I am the chair of the anesthesia committee, and Dr. Chan is the other member. Our committees have 2 people each for the new board members. We took a look at the evaluations for this individual, and in each case, there were 2 evaluators. The first one was 2 evaluators, and in the repeat examination, there were 2 evaluators. Each of them wrote notes about why this individual did not do well in the management of medical emergencies during anesthesia. And they each had different sort of notes. It wasn't like the same thing each time, which I found to be somewhat uncomfortable and not good in the best interest of taking care of our patients. If our ultimate goal is to take care of the people of California and give them the best we can, this is not an example of that. So we've had a couple of other cases like that in the last few months, unfortunately. And what we did was we went back and looked at, Dr. Chen and I looked at what was done in the past. And typically what we'd like to do is revoke his anesthesia permit, period. And if the individual would like to get another one, then he will have to go ahead, get additional education and go through another inspection in the areas, in all areas actually, but especially in the areas of emergencies. So to that end, I would like to make a motion, and then you can discuss it as the board after that. I'd like to make a motion, if I can find it. Here it is, that we move to adopt the committee's recommendation to deny the renewal of CS, that's his initials, moderate sedation permit. If the individual seeks to apply for a new moderate sedation permit, CS shall submit to the board for the board prior approval and successfully complete prior to applying for a new moderate sedation permit remedial education of 24 hours in the administration of moderate sedation, including recognition and management of medical emergencies in the administration of moderate sedation to dental patients in an outpatient setting, and submit to and pass an on-site inspection and evaluation.
Second the motion.
That would be seconded by Mr. David, I guess.
Mr. David. All right, is there any other board member discussion? All right, let's go on to see if there are any in-person public comments. Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Certainly, if anyone would like to make a comment on the anesthesia committee's recommendation, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand, and our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the issue? I do not see any requests for comment. I will turn it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Board Secretary, please call the roll and record the votes for this motion.
The motion was to approve motion number 2 as stated by Dr. Felsenfeld earlier of agenda 13B. Chan,
Chan, I.
And I, Cheng.
Chang, I.
Cheng, I, David.
David, I.
David, I, Deerking.
Dear King, I.
I, Deerking, Felsenfeld.
Felsenfeld, aye.
Felsenfeld, I, Forge.
Forge, aye.
Forge, I, Larin, I, Medina.
Medina, I.
Medina, I, Olage.
Olagi, I.
Olage, I, Takur. Takur, I, you.
UI.
You, I, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Let's go on to agenda item 14A, 2025 tentative legislative calendar. We're on pages 157 to 159. Going to ask Mr. Nelson to present this item.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. This is just a brief item here. It's the 2025 tentative legislative calendar being provided for information only. The calendar is compiled by the Office of the Assembly Chief Clerk and the Office of the Secretary of Senate, and no action is requested. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any board member discussions on this item? Seeing none, are there any in-person public comments on this item? Seeing none, are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, it's all yours.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment, you may do so by clicking the hand icon. We do have one request, and each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 30-second warning. Our first request for comment is from Ana Maria Quintana, and I'm going to send you a request. You'll see a pop-up, and you will click on the unmute me button. Go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hello, everyone. Again, I spoke earlier in public comment. I simply wanted to chime in to provide a brief update on AB 966 and convey to the board that we are most definitely still working on this bill, and also to ask for direction from the board as to who we can work with directly at the dental board to advance and get insight on some of the provisions on the bill. Per your agenda materials, it was noted that a letter was sent to the author highlighting some of the issues or concerns with implementation. So having a discussion in person and having the stakeholders fully involved, which include the dental board, would be of great use so that we can together find a solution on how to address the lack of dental care in our communities. So please advise who we can contact. I understand that that an executive director hasn't fully been appointed, but maybe someone on the board or someone can direct us to a staff member to facilitate discussion. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
So noted.
Yeah.
Other public comment?
I do not see any further raised hands, so I will turn the meeting back to you.
Okay. Let's see, let's move on to agenda item 14B, legislation of interest, pages 160 to 187 in the meeting materials. Mr. Nelson, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. What I have for you is a cornucopia of legislative information, but I will go through it one by one, starting with the updates as to bills that have a direct impact on the board for discussion, possible action. So starting off with AB 485, this is a bill by Assemblyman Ortega, Labor Commissioner. This is regarding unsatisfied judgments and non-payment of wages in terms of the Labor Commissioner. This bill would require the board to deny a new license or permit or the renewal for employers who have a non-payment of wages judgment. As written, the Labor Commissioner would notify applicable boards and bureaus. At the May meeting, the board voted to take an oppose unless amended position to clarify board action following subsequent compliance by the employer. It was also unclear how the Labor Commissioner would become aware of a license or permit submitted to the board. So on May 29th, the board sent an oppose unless amended position letter to Assemblymember Ortega. The bill was amended on July 1st, 2025, but the amendments do not resolve the concerns raised by the board in its oppose unless amended position letter. The bill is currently set for hearing in the Senate Appropriations Committee when the legislature returns or reconvenes from summer recess on August 18th. And that's all I have for this one. Thank you.
Okay. And there's no other ones then that we have to No other ones?
So I'm just going through each bill.
Okay.
And then I'll turn it over if you guys would like to discuss or take an action. In this particular instance, the board already took an action. And I'm just giving an update on how that's proceeded. It's at the board's discretion, obviously, if you want to take a different position or if you want to discuss it further.
So we'll take all of them at the end for any other discussions. So go ahead. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Okay, so I'll defer to the board if you guys would like me to move on to the next bill. I think we have to do, if I'm correct, we have to decide if we're going to do anything on this. There's going to be discussion or anything.
So, well, let's do this then. Any discussion on this one from the board? No. Okay. All right, let's move on.
All right, moving on to Assembly Bill 489. This is regarding healthcare.
Hang on, Brent.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't see any need to change our position, our OUA on that bill.
Okay.
On to AB 489. This is the Healthcare Professions Bill regarding deceptive terms and letters. Artificial intelligence is what this is about. The bill would prohibit artificial intelligence systems from applying their licensed healthcare professionals. Healing Arts Boards may pursue an injunction, restraining order, or other remedy against a person or entity who develops or deploys such a system. At the May meeting, the board voted to take a support position on AB 489. On May 29th, the board sent Assemblymember Bonta a support position letter stating the board recognizes the value of consumer protection as new technological developments are emerging in AI. The bill is currently set for hearing in the Senate Appropriations Committee when they reconvene from summer recess on August 18th. And I will relay that Senator Bonta's office was appreciative of the board's support if amended letter, or excuse me, support letter. Let me clarify. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any board discussion on this one? Seeing none, go ahead.
All right, next bill is AB 667 by Assemblymember Solish. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, apologies. Professions and vocations, license examination and interpreters is what this is about. This bill would, beginning July 1st, 2026, require certain boards under the jurisdiction of the Department of Consumer Affairs to permit an applicant who cannot read, speak, or write in English to use an interpreter or interpret the English written and oral portions of the license examination. The applicant meets all other requirements for licensure. The bill was actually amended to remove DCA Division II Healing Arts Boards, which includes the dental board. So at the May meeting, board staff recommended monitoring to ensure the language is not added back due to examination and security concerns. As of now, the Healing Arts Boards remain excluded from the bill. Board staff will continue to monitor the bill for any changes.
Thank you. Any board discussion on this one? Seeing none, go ahead.
Thank you. Next bill, AB 742 from Assemblymember L. Harway. Department of Consumer Affairs licensing applicants who are descendants of slaves. This bill would require DCA boards and bureaus to expedite the applications for applicants seeking licensure who are descendants of slaves once the process is implemented to certify descendants of slaves as specified. Provisions of this bill would be repealed either 4 years from the date they became operative or on January 1st, 2032, whichever is earlier. At the May meeting, the board voted to take an oppose unless amended position to resolve the implementation, fiscal, and clarity concerns as specifically identified in the board materials. On May 29th, the board sent an oppose unless amended letter to Assemblymember Al Harway regarding these concerns. The bill is currently set for hearing in the Senate Appropriations Committee on August 18th. That's all I have for this one.
Any board discussion on this one? Go ahead.
If I could just make a clarifying statement, the letter was actually sent in August.
Thank you.
Seeing no other board discussion on this one, go ahead.
The next bill is AB 873, Alanis. This is regarding dentistry, dental assistance, and infection control course. At the May meeting, the board voted to take a support if amended position to include the board's additional legislative proposals to resolve SB 1453 issues, the sunset bill. On May 23rd, 2025, the board sent a support if amended position letter to Assemblymember Alanis. On July 9th, 2025, the bill was amended, but many of the requested amendments approved at the November 2024 and 2025 meetings were not included in the July 9th version of the bill. My detailed summary provided in the materials dives into the specifics. However, on July 14th, 2025, the author canceled the hearing of this bill, making it a 2-year bill. So until the ITR and radiation safety and electronic infection control course and related fee statutes are amended to resolve the previously identified implementation issues, these courses cannot yet be approved by the board for course providers to offer students, but the board will continue to work to advance our amendments. So that's all I have for this one.
Okay, any board discussion on this one? Seeing none, go ahead.
Next bill is AB 876 from Assembly Member is the correct term of art. Assembly Member Flora. This is regarding nurse anesthetist scope of practice. This bill was amended on July 9th, 2025 to expressly provide that a nurse anesthetist is authorized to perform anesthesia services. The bill would define anesthesia services for purposes of the act to mean, among other things, preoperative, intraoperative, and postoperative care and pain management provided by a nurse anesthetist for patients receiving anesthesia pursuant to an order by a physician, dentist, podiatrist, or anesthesia services, or anesthesia services for a specific patient. So basically, the bill would provide that the selection and administration of medication by a nurse anesthetist for all the things I just mentioned would not constitute a prescription that is a term that is defined and specified in federal law. Board staff recommend watching this bill. This kind of already basically kind of puts in law what a nurse anesthetists have been doing. I've gotten a lot of questions about this one, and largely the nurse anesthetists have been doing these things. They just haven't really been spelled out. And so that's what my understanding of this bill is. And we're just encouraging the board to look at watching the bill.
Let's let Tara talk first and then we'll go Bob.
Just to note that the one of the legislative committee analyses indicates that the Osteopathic Medical Board is opposed to this bill. This bill appears to expand the scope of nurse anesthetist practice to authorize the nurse anesthetist to select and implement the modality of anesthesia administered to patients. There may also be concern as to how this bill operates with Business and Professions Code Section 4170 Subdivision A that prohibits drugs dispensed in a prescriber's office that are furnished by a nurse.
Bob?
So Robert David, board member. On the medical side, nurse anesthetists, this has been an access issue for a number of years, particularly in rural areas where there weren't enough anesthesiologists. And so nurse anesthetists now, the anesthesiologists typically don't, it's a scope issue and it gets messy. But I guess my question for the board members, particularly the practitioners, is access to anesthesia in any parts of California in dental practice, is it an issue? Is there adequate access to dental anesthesia, I guess is my question. Because otherwise, maybe we shouldn't even get involved in this bill. But if there's patient access issues, then we should think about it.
Sounds like we need to refer back to our staff to find out data before we comment. Yeah.
I could just
Go ahead.
Felsenfeld, I've been following this issue a long time because nurse anesthetists are an integral part of providing anesthesia even at UCLA Medical Center. They're doing it. And they would like to be able to do it out in dental offices, but then we have something in the law that says on the prescription of, or something like this, some funky words. And maybe this will give them the ability to come to a dental office being ordered by a dentist who does not necessarily have an anesthesia permit, which might in fact provide additional access. I can't answer your question specifically. Is there a corner of the state where people can't get anesthesia? Probably, but they can't get anything else either because the physician ratio to the population is so bad. They have to travel hundreds of miles to go somewhere else. That's likely the case, but I'm not sure that this would change that. But I think they're trying to be able to get to the point where they can get and do anesthesia for dental offices. They can't buy their own drugs is the problem. And that has to be all worked out here. At this point, I would agree that let's see where it's going. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt us. My personal opinion, I don't think it's going to hurt us if in fact they get the ability to do that. And your local dentist, if you want to be asleep, can call them in. But they're going to be working 100% on their own, as would be the general anesthesia permitters as well, or the dentist anesthesiologist as well. So it's not any different than what we're doing with other providers. But I think it's worth watching this.
Question.
Go ahead, John.
Dr. Chan, John Deerking here. My question is, has the BRN taken a position on this particular bill?
I don't have that information right now, but I can get that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other at the Board of Nursing?
My understanding, go ahead.
I'm sorry, has Board of Registered Nursing?
They have their own board for stuff.
It's under the,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sarah?
The last legislative committee analysis does not indicate that BRN has taken a position on this bill. There's two associations in support and quite a lot of opposition, including California Medical Association, California Orthopedic Association, California Podiatric Medical Association, California Radiologic Society. There's a bunch. I pointed out the Osteopathic Medical Board of California. That's it.
Thank you.
To continue to watch.
Okay.
Then. Yes. No other board discussion on this item. Okay, Brent, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Moving on to the next bill, AB 966, Carrillo, Dental Practice Act, Foreign Dental Schools. This bill would make it so that beginning on January 1st, 2024, because existing law, first let me take a step back. Existing law has it so that we require foreign dental schools seeking approval by the board. They have to complete an international consultative and accreditation process with the Commission of Dental Accreditation, CODA. Existing law maintained the approval of any foreign dental schools whose programs was renewed by the board prior to January 1st, 2020 through any date between January 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2026 through that renewal date. This bill would instead maintain the approval of any foreign dental school whose program was approved by the board prior to January 1st, 2024 until the school is denied accreditation by CODA and the school does not appeal. The school has been issued a denial by CODA following the completion of the appeals process, or the school withdraws its application for CODA accreditation. The bill would require licensed applicants who graduated from a foreign dental school with extended board approval to agree to practice dentistry in specified practice settings. The bill would require the board, as part of the board's first sunset review report following January 1st, 2032, to report specified information regarding workforce data of licensees and graduates of foreign dental schools with extended approval as specified. The bill would also require significant statutory and regulatory changes and staff time preparing the new workforce report required under the bill and increase staffing resource costs. This bill may also result in decreased consumer protection resulting from licensees who graduated from a foreign dental school that had been audited or otherwise reviewed for educational requirements compliance for many years. The bill also may result in a foreign dental school maintaining board approval without board oversight of compliance with existing regulatory requirements for a long time, as long as the school has applied for CODA approval. At its May meeting, the board voted to take an oppose unless amended position on AB 966. On May 20th, the board sent an oppose unless amended letter to Assemblymember Carrillo stating that the board would further discuss AB 966 at its August 2025 meeting to provide his office with instruction as to how this bill might be best implemented in anticipation of the bill returning in the next legislative session, because it's currently a 2-year bill. Unfortunately, board staff are unable to find a path forward as to amending the bill. CODA is the only accrediting body recognized by the U.S. Department of Education for dental schools. CODA approval of foreign dental schools ensures educational standards meet U.S. requirements for dental licensure. It verifies that graduates have the necessary knowledge, skills, and clinical training to practice safely and competently in the United States, protecting public health and maintaining professional standards. In California, CODA is mandated for foreign dental schools by Assembly Bill 1519, which became effective on January 1st, 2020, and Senate Bill 607, effective January 1st, 2022. The board is prohibited from accepting new applications for approval of foreign dental schools because of these bills. Foreign dental schools are required to comply with CODA or a comparable accreditation process. Unfortunately, there isn't, in my enormous research into this topic, a comparable accreditation process. CODA is the only one the U.S. Department of Education actually says is the one that can do this. So, and the board does not have the resources, or, I mean, there's just no way around this. There is no comparable accreditation process whatsoever. And so I also want to mention that while international accreditation involves a multi-step process, which typically takes several years due to the complexity of aligning educational models that foreign dental schools have with the U.S. standards. As of 2025, there are 2 foreign dental schools which are CODA accredited. And King Abdulaziz University in Saudi Arabia was accredited on August 1st, 2019. Idepete, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, University in Turkey, accredited February 1st, 2024. So there are schools that are acquiring accreditation through CODA. It's happening. A 2020 California law, well, let me back up. So let me just make my point here. There are schools that are going through the process, the multi-year process, getting accreditation, and there doesn't seem to be a way to amend this bill to accommodate something else other than CODA at this time. And that's all I have for this one.
Okay. Is there any board discussion on this item? William?
Hello, this is Dr. Lighting again. Thank you for going over that. I understand the history, but there is more history about this. Back in early 70s, for 40 years, foreign dental graduates were accepted for examination here in California, including myself and other people on the board. And there was no oversight of the schools. That lasted almost 40 years. All you had to do was take a RT exam, restorative technique exam, and then you had to take the national boards, and then you took the state board, and that was it. There was no oversight. They didn't have to go evaluate the schools. Anybody could come here. And there really hasn't been, that I see, a lot of complaints coming from these graduates of international programs. If you look at medicine, medicine has 1 in 4 physicians is a graduate of an international school. There's 1,800 schools approved by medicine around the world globally. So, yeah, there's an access to care issue here in California. So I think this bill is what it's asking is just to extend our previously approved schools until the accreditation from CODA is denied. And we did accept CODA here. The board and I myself voted for that, to accept CODA to replace the dental schools with the knowledge that CODA was only going to take 3-4 years, and it's been close to 10 years, and they haven't been able to, only 2 schools have been accredited, as you mentioned. So I would like to see that the 2 schools that are approved continue, not maybe until they're denied, like I said last meeting, maybe until, 3-4 years, until 30. That would be my amendment, and I would make a motion for that. But But I just want the other people to know that there is a history of foreign graduates in California, and they've been here for many, many, many years. And it's serving the population. It's serving access to care. They're working in communities in federally qualified clinics. They're the ones who take Denti-Cal. Most other graduates of national dental schools do not take Denti-Cal. We are serving the population. So that's just something to consider. And people, think that just because the dental assistant speaks Spanish, that's not enough. I'd rather see access to care. I'd rather have a patient go to the dentist than not go at all because they don't understand the dentist that's speaking to them. They really identify. Again, 40% of the population in California is Latino. There's only less than 10% Latino or Spanish-speaking dentists, less than that. So I just would like to see it extended if possible. And I know it's a lot of work, I know, but just remember the history. We didn't have this before. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you, Mr. Board President, and thank you, Dr. Loren. And I just personally want to echo that, I do see the value in what you're saying, and certainly you're here, and I'm thankful you're here. And there's no question in my mind that we're certainly enriched by people coming from all sorts of places to bring their services here. I think the issue really, looking at this and trying to solve the problem, the dental board itself, because of the laws that the legislature has passed and the governor has signed, the two bills I read off there, we're prohibited from accepting, foreign dental school that doesn't have CODA approval. The real fight, I think, the next place where this fight should go, if I'm just speaking from my research on this, as someone who cares deeply about this issue as well. The accreditation system, there's only so many people that play in that game, and CODA is the only one recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. They are the gatekeepers. They hold the keys on federal money. If I want to go to dental school right now and I want a student loan, I'm going to have to go to a CODA approved one. Otherwise, I don't know how I'm going to afford it unless my dad's really rich. She's not. And I'm too old anyway. But you get my point. CODA is the main one that plays this game. And there's only so many accreditors, and it's been a bipartisan issue for a long time. Democrats and Republicans have wanted to create, other ways to get new accreditors in there that are more flexible, that can, analyze things faster, move quicker. Unfortunately, the dental board is kind of between a rock and a hard place. And while I hear, meeting after meeting, you relay these things that I totally value, the real issue is this, there's only CODA, and we have to have their approval. And I think, unfortunately, the way that the legislative landscape is, the dental board can take positions, but I think ultimately the legislature and the governor have kind of weighed in with bills that already exist. So that's kind of where we're at.
No, I understand. But for example, this bill right here, if it goes through, what happens?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If the bill passes, if this bill passes, what happens? It's for some reason, just a question.
So if the bill passes as is, the implications for the board, I'd have to get back to you I'd have to analyze that and really determine what those look like, because I'm not sure. I understand that the goal is to extend CODA approval, but there's also and this bill is a 2-year bill right now. I just want to let everyone know that I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just a 2-year bill for now. But I can get that information to you on what my analysis might be in terms of what its impact would be. I don't know what it would, if it were to pass.
Would it eliminate the CODA requirement?
No. My understanding, go ahead. Did you have something?
The CODA requirement is actually within a different statute. So if that's something that is a concern, this would become a much broader issue that would have to be tackled, and we have to take a look at other relevant statutes to see how we would need to address it.
Okay, thank you.
Involve an extent of legal research, and I'd have to, look into it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a lot of moving parts on this one. Go ahead, Bob.
Robert David, board member. I would encourage, this issue is not going away, right? And there's a lot of interest among stakeholders, including consumer-oriented stakeholders. And I would just encourage board staff to engage with the author and to because you have some legitimate bars to doing this. I get it. But I'd like this board to be engaged on this thing because it's important and it's not going away.
Any other board comments? Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. The next bill that we have is AB 1130 by Assemblyman Berman. This is regarding dentistry outreach and support program. This bill would require the board to develop, implement, and maintain an outreach and support program to recruit students from underserved communities in the state to pursue education and licensure in the field of dentistry. The bill would establish duties. The bill would establish duties regarding how to carry out this outreach program, including conducting at least 2 outreach activities per year focused on students from underserved communities. The bill would require the board to provide a summary of actions taken pursuant to the bill's provisions as part of its report to the legislature through the sunset review process. In terms of fiscal impact, the board staff estimate about $179,000 in costs for an associate government program analyst position and travel costs to implement and maintain this outreach program. In the first budget year, in the next budget year, the board staff estimate another $159,000 for ongoing costs for the associate government program analyst or AGPA position. While the bill's aim is appreciated, it's not entirely clear how effective this kind of outreach might be in persuading students from underserved communities to become dentists. It's not like most underserved areas have dental schools or dental employees, so it's just not clear to me in my reading of this bill, if it would have the desired outcomes given the cost, and it would be hard to know how effective the outreach is going to be years down the road. The recommended position from board staff is to watch.
Okay. Any board comment on this one? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Moving on to next bill, AB 1307. This is from Assemblymember Avila Frias, a licensed dentist from Mexico pilot program. This bill would repeal and replace the existing licensed dentist from Mexico pilot program and instead requires the board to issue a 3-year non-renewable permit to practice dentistry to an applicant who meets specified criteria and require participants in the program to comply with specified requirements. The bill would authorize participants to be employed only by federally qualified health centers that meet the specified conditions and would impose requirements on those centers. The bill would require an evaluation of the program to be commenced beginning 1 year after the program has commenced, or I'm sorry, the bill would require an evaluation of the program to be commenced beginning 1 year after the program has started as specified and would prescribe the information to be included in that evaluation. The bill would require the cost for the program to be fully paid by funds from philanthropic foundations. So at its May meeting, the board voted to take an oppose unless amended position on AB 1307, describing its specific concerns. Board staff met with Assemblymember Avila Frias' office and the bill sponsor to address the board's concerns. Based on the July 8th, 2025 amendments to the bill, the concerns were addressed, and the board sent a letter on July 9th, 2025, withdrawing its oppose unless amended position. And so now it's a 2-year bill, and that's all the information I have. I only know that it just became a 2-year bill, and the board recommended position is to just watch and see what happens next. And that's all I have on this one.
Board comments.
Okay, Robert David. So it's not on the suspense file. It's a 2-year bill now.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, if it's still alive and they basically dealt with our issues, we should just be supportive.
Well, we don't quite know what's going to happen.
Okay, we can wait. If it's a 2-year bill, we can wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not funded. Okay, any other board comment? Go ahead.
It's me again. Hi, I think I asked you last time, did you find out if they're going to be supervised, those dentists that they want to work there? You were going to find out if they were going to be supervised by another dentist. You didn't know last time. There is?
So the dentist would only be employed at the federally qualified health centers. So I believe those are supervised
They are
dentists.
I'm not sure.
I don't know that it says it specifically in the bill, but they're heavily involved in the recruitment and the training of the dentists.
Okay, also, I don't understand what a 2-year bill is. What is that? It means it's gonna run for 2 years. What, can you
So,
explain?
yeah, sure. And in the legislature, it's like a 2-year session. So there's 2 years in every session. And then once we're done with one session, another session will start. And so, yeah, I made a joke that wasn't that funny earlier about, how a bill can become about the California condor or something else. Because sometimes bills can become about something else in the second thing, or they can just, we don't know what's going to happen. So, a lot of times I recommend, or staff recommends a watch position. We don't know what's going to happen. And then once we see what they're doing, we can take a position based on that information.
Okay. Takor.
Dr. Thakur, I just want to clarify, dentists who work at community health centers are not necessarily supervised. They work under their own licensure. It is like a group practice. And there's mentorship and other colleagues you can bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Some of us do have residency programs where the residents are the non-licensed. They are supervised by the dentists employed by the health center. But someone who's employed by the health center, we are independent practitioners.
Okay. Go ahead, Tara.
Just a couple points of clarification. The bill is in Senate Business Professions and Economic Development Committee. That's where it got held. The author pulled the bill from the hearing. I'm hoping that the sponsor of the bill, the representative is Arnoldo Torres. I'm hoping maybe he can shed some light on why the author pulled the bill, because we worked really hard to get it to a good place where it wouldn't tax the board with resources. It seemed to provide sufficient consumer protection because we added a bunch of requirements for the pilot program licensure. There is no supervision requirement in it, and that's mainly because the dentists coming from Mexico would already have to be licensed, and meet significant hurdles in their practice to come here. It seemed like a great program. We're not really sure what happened. If you want to change the position to a support, you might want to consider it. As far as I understand, in order for this bill to continue to move, it's got to get out of Senate BMP, most likely in January. So your next meeting is November, and I don't know what's going to happen to the bill. I mean, the only way it's going to get out now is if it's amended, and we haven't heard anything from Mr. Torres. We're just standing by to see what happens next. But we worked with the stakeholders and really tried to get it to a good place, and then it just got held up.
Any other board comment? Mr. Deerkin, did you have another one?
My comment was, I think Mr. Nelson referenced the spot bill as part of the 2-year cycle, when you indicated that.
Yes, there is the possibility that it could be a spot bill. There is possibilities that are unknown. And whenever I'm dealing with unknowns, my sense is to be very cautious. And that's just my thought on that. But of course, it's just, I just want to emphasize one thing here is that as we go over these, it isn't just the dental board. There is the legislature, the policy committee, the governor's office. There's a lot of people that are involved in this. And so we can make, best thing we can do is make a good position based on sound judgment and sound advice. And I'm going to tell you how it is and what's going on, but I don't know always what's going to happen down the road. And so if I don't know what's going to happen, I would not do anything.
Any other board comment? All right, let's go on.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. So the next bill is Senate Bill 351 from Senator Colbadom, health facilities. This bill would prohibit hedge funds and private equity groups involved in any manner with a physician or dental practice doing business in the state from making healthcare decisions or exercising power over specified actions, including making decisions regarding coding and billing procedures for patient care services. Board enforcement staff estimate 20 additional cases per year to investigate, which would potentially involve prohibited actions in connection with private equity or hedge fund ownership. There's kind of been a lot of things in the news about this where someone shows up into a dental office and it's like this beautiful entryway, and then there's all this frustration with how this services go. And then the sense is, I've seen this, I'm just telling you what the cultural look at this is that it's obviously private equity is what people are asserting. And so I think this bill is like a reaction to that sense. Last time we recommended a watch position, and I would continue with that watch position.
Any board discussion on this one? Seeing none, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Next bill is SB 470 by Senator Laird, Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act regarding teleconferencing. The Open Meeting Act authorizes meetings or teleconference subject to specified requirements. Those provisions will be repealed on January 1st, 2026. This bill would instead repeal those provisions on January 1st, 2030. The bill would allow the board to continue with the current process of allowing teleconferencing, providing cost savings and efficiencies for another 4 years. At its May meeting, the board voted to take a support position on SB 470. On May 29th, the board sent a support position letter to Senator Laird's office stating the board recognizes the value of efficiency, cost savings, and expanded public access to board meetings provided by teleconference options. And I will relate to the board that Senator Laird's office was appreciative of that support letter.
Thank you. Any board comments on this one? Seeing none, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Next bill, SB 641, Ashby, Department of Consumer Affairs and Department of Real Estate, States of Emergency Waivers and Exemptions. This bill would authorize boards under the jurisdiction of the DCA to waive application of certain provisions of the licensure requirements as specified that the board or DCA is charged with enforcing for licensees and applicants impacted by a declared federal, state, or local emergency, or whose home or business is in a declared disaster area. Board staff would need to coordinate with DCA to implement the bill in terms of initial setup so fee waivers could be facilitated by way of the BREEZE system. Board staff, due to the inability to predict the extent of future disasters, are not certain as to the fiscal impact this bill might pose by allowing fee waivers. And it is a waiver. It's not like we're going to delay and you can pay us later. It's a full-on waiver, which is revenue loss. The board position that's recommended is to continue to watch this bill. We do recognize that, there are disasters, obviously, in California, very sadly, as we all well know. But at the same time, it's not clear if this bill, because of the fiscal impact, it would be advisable to support. So watch is the recommendation. Thank you.
Any board discussion on this one? Seeing none, go ahead, Brent.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Next bill, SB 744, Colbadon, regarding accrediting agencies. This bill would provide that for purposes of any code or statute, a national or regional accrediting agency recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as of January 1st, 2025, shall retain that recognition until January 20th, 2029, provided that the agency continues to operate in substantially the same manner as it did on January 1st, 2025. So as I mentioned earlier in our discussion, CODA is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as the sole agency that accredits dental and dental-related education programs. Importantly, the president, referring to President Trump, is April 23rd, 2025 executive order, thankfully did not mention CODA or dentistry, and specifically mentioned the American Bar Association for what the administration claims to be alleged unlawful race-based admission policies, and the Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education, that's the ACGME. The president also mentioned that in the executive order for allegedly prioritizing race and ethnicity in recruitment and retention. But I just want to point out that I did a lot of research into this, and the ABA suspended enforcement of its diversity standards in February 2025. They acknowledged legal concerns. Recent case law came out that kind of challenged what they were doing. Also, the ACGME announced on May 9th, 2025, that it was suspending enforcement of its related requirements, citing conflicts with state and federal law. Board staff believe CODA's specialized role in dental education makes it much less likely to be targeted compared to the more broader, more political institutional creditors. This bill is an attempt to ensure that California can continue to use accredited programs regardless of what happens with the U.S. Department of Education's recognition. So board staff do recommend a support position. The reason I want to emphasize that I think the support position is appropriate here is because it's a good thing to support a bill. It's also, I just want to, I know there's some fear about, is this going to change or not? It's a Herculean task to try to change. As I just was talking with Dr. Loren about how the accreditors are cemented in, and they've been there longer than I've been alive. They're probably not going anywhere. So the support position is recommended, and that's all I have for this.
Go ahead, Bob.
Earlier, you recommended caution in dealing with unknowns.
Yeah.
This bill is full of unknowns. And because of that, it's unknowns and what ifs and maybes. I would just watch the bill, but that's just me.
You're saying that the unknown being like what the Trump administration might do, or, okay.
Any other board comments? Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay, go ahead, Brent. I don't
Okay,
see
next
any-
bill.
No. See any motion?
SB 861. This is the Committee on Business Professions and Economic Development bill that is basically they do this bill to kind of, fix the code and make changes. So it's the actual committee and the committee chair that's doing this. This isn't done by an actual senator, although there's a chair, obviously, and there's members in the committee that have kind of gone through this and made this happen. So the omnibus bill is what this is referred to as, would amend various aspects of regulations and licensing across multiple boards and bureaus. The bill also includes the board's legislative proposal to conform BPC sections 1602 and 1603 subdivisions D and E to change the reference of the former registered dental hygienist board member position to the new registered dental assistant position in accordance with recent amendments. At its May meeting, the board voted to take an oppose unless amended position. And on May 29th, the board sent an oppose unless amended letter to Senator Ashby, who's the chair of that committee, the Senate Business and Professions and Economic Development Committee, describing the board's specific concerns about the reinstatement of Business and Professions Code Section 1616.5 to make the board's appointment of its executive officer subject to the approval of the director of the Department of Consumer Affairs. On July 1st, the board sent a letter to Senator Ashby stating that based on amendments to the bill that removed BPC Section 1616.5, the board was withdrawing its oppose unless amended position. So that was, the board asked for that, and that was done. And that's the status on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any board comment on that one? Go ahead, Brent.
Thank you. This next bill I have, and it's the last one, so please don't fall asleep. AB 350 is, it's not a bill that would directly impact the board, but it was one that was of interest. And last meeting, we discussed it, and the board voted to take a position. This is AB 350 by Bonta, the Healthcare Coverage Fluoride Treatments Bill. This bill would require a healthcare service plan, contract, or health insurance policy issued, amended, or renewed on or after January 1st, 2026 to provide coverage for the application of fluoride varnish in the primary care setting for children under 21 years of age. This bill would make the application of fluoride or other appropriate fluoride treatment, including fluoride varnish, a covered benefit under the Medi-Cal program for children under 21 years of age. The bill would require the State Department of Healthcare Services to establish and promulgate a policy governing billing and reimbursement for the application of fluoride varnish. At the May 2025 meeting, the board voted to take a support position. On May 29th, 2025, the board sent Assemblymember Bonta a support position, stating that the board recognized the value of enhancing fluoride varnish coverage to improve children's oral health in California. And I will relate to the board that Assemblymember Bonta's office was appreciative of our support position. Thank you.
Any board comment on that one? Brent, we appreciate the depth of research that you do on each one of these. And it's not just things like history, the environmental variables, but the implications downstream. So thank you for your research on that. I mean, it shows in your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Board President.
Okay, let's see. Is there any other board discussion on these bodies of legislation before us? Seeing none, is there any in-person public comment? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA monitor, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Certainly. So we have opened up the public comment feature. If anyone would like to make a comment on any of the items presented, you may raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon. We do have one raised hand already, and each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 30-second warning. I am going to recognize Francisco Leal. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your mic. It'll be a pop-up on your screen, and you can click on the unmute me part of that.
Got the 2 minutes.
And Francisco, it looks like you're having an issue with getting your microphone to unmute. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the chat. Oh, there you go.
Am I in?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Board members, just in connection with AB 966, I know that there was an exhaustive analysis provided, and the question was asked, what would happen if this bill became law? And I know that there are some nuances to it, but I wanted to convey to you, as simple as I can convey it, that if this bill becomes law, it will allow the 2 schools that this board previously approved by way of an exhaustive evaluation process to continue admitting, training, educating American students so they can graduate from these schools while the schools go through the quota accreditation process. And the reason for that is because, as you may recall, we had been informed that quota was a 2 to 3 year process, which is just not true. So this bill, the prior legislation essentially cut off this pipeline because it was impossible for the schools to complete quota in that minimal time frame. So what the bill does essentially is it says, okay, let the schools apply through quota and continue with the pipeline. And as it was stated by one of the board members, this is a huge access to care issue. We have identified about 1,000, if not more, students who graduated from both schools. Many are working in poor communities taking dental care aid. And our goal is to ensure that that pipeline continues. That is the essence of this bill. And I wanted to emphasize that because this problem
30 seconds.
This problem is significant, and it's a problem that all of you are very keenly aware, and it's going to become even more onerous with the so-called big, beautiful bill that's going to further undermine the ability for the poor to get medical care. I want to emphasize that and convey to you that this is what the bill does. It's not that complex, and it's an easy change if it passes, which was a question that Dr. Ladin asked. What happens if it passes?
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do not see any further requests for comment. So I will turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Nelson. That was, take a deep breath on that one. Thank you. All right, let's see. Let's go on to meeting dates. Yeah. Agenda item 15, the 2026 meeting dates were on page 188 to 194 of the meeting materials. Hang on, guys. Okay. Ms. Bell, can you present the agenda item?
Thank you. Christy Bell, Interim Executive Officer. I'm presenting agenda item 15, 2026 meeting dates. The board needs to establish the 2026 meeting schedule to provide adequate time to negotiate contracts for meeting space locations. A 2026 calendar is attached for your reference. The calendar includes dates for holidays and association meetings. Pursuant to Business and Professions Code Section 101.7, the board shall meet at least 2 times each calendar year. Boards shall meet at least once each calendar year in Northern California and once each calendar year in Southern California in order to facilitate participation by the public and its licensees. Historically, the board meets quarterly. And below are some proposed dates for board meetings in 2026. The board is asked to consider any potential conflicts with the proposed meeting dates. Thank you.
Thank you. There are a lot of variables with this one too. So let's start with any board member discussion on the dates and realize that she's going to collect the polling on the dates and the individual board members.
Hi,
So-
from you. For the May schedule, I suggested we should go for the May 13 to 14 to match the dental convention
Okay, any other,
last year. Yeah.
okay, any other board member discussion on the meeting dates? Being
I
none.
agree. I agree
Go
with
ahead.
Dr. Yu. I agree with Dr. Yu. Definitely. It would be much better.
Okay, Stakur and Loren. All right, any other comments on that? How about any in-person public comments? Seeing, oh. Come on board. Meeting dates.
Hello, Tukazokai. For the convention with the CDA Presents, I actually would recommend it to be May 12 and 13. That way there's availability for individuals not to have overlap with the conference so they can attend the meeting. And then that way there's availability during the day. I know last year there were some courses, especially one on the Dental Practice Act that individuals wanted to attend and there were conflicts with the board meeting itself. So I know it's a lot of time asking for your schedules, but I do think there's some great courses. I'm biased, of course, during the CDA Presents and the convention. So to have the board meeting directly before, then with just one day of overlap, then there can be even that one day of overlap can be a challenge. So I do recommend being able to come to the convention and having it on May 12 and 13.
Thank you. Any other in-person comments? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. If anyone on WebEx would like to make a comment about the future meeting dates, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Any comments on the meeting dates? I do not see any requests for comment. I'll turn the meeting back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's take a 15-minute break before we do the next item. So what time is it now? Want to do 16 first? Okay, let's do this. Let's go back because the next item is not going to be as involved. Let's do agenda item 16, the public comment on future agenda items, page 195. So public comment, are there any in-person public comments? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from individuals participating via WebEx? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Thank you. We do already have one, but if anyone else would like to suggest an item for a future agenda, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. And I'll recognize Ana Maria Quintana. And if you would, I'll send you the request to unmute and you'll click the unmute me.
Hello, am I on?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I got the hang of it now. I simply want to suggest that at the next
Can you
board
identify
meeting,
yourself, please?
Hi, I'm sorry. My name is Ana Maria Quintana. I'm councilwoman for the city of Bell. I want to suggest that at the next board meeting, that we have a much more extensive discussion on foreign trained dentists. Board member Larin and board member David shared information that I, for one, didn't know. Larin shared information on the history of foreign trained dentists that I didn't know. And board member David suggested that we should have a greater understanding and have staff involvement. So my recommendation is that we allot an item for discussion so that the entire board, especially because you have new members, can be on the same page and have a full and robust understanding of the history of these schools. We will be presenting and we will reach out personally to also folks who are involved on AB 1307 because that also involves foreign trained dentists. So that again, we're all on the same page and we can together come up with a solution because our communities are incredibly underserved and I think we owe it to them to provide services. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
And our next request for comment, Francisco Leal, did you have a, there we go. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your mic and you will be able to click the unmute me button.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Just real briefly, I think the issue for a future meeting, we're all talking about this issue of access to care and the difficulties in providing care for underserved communities. And I'm not sure there's any material or any studies either through the CDA or through the board that really highlights this problem. And I think it's a problem and an issue that this board at times has indicated through other members that it isn't within their purview. But I firmly believe that this issue of access to dental care to the poor communities in this state is squarely within your purview. And I would, as a member of the public, would like to see more emphasis and studies in connection with that for future agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do not see any further requests for comment, so I will turn the meeting back to you and we can begin closed session in 15 minutes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chair, if I could, and I don't know whether this is the time to do this, but I just wanted to refer to the minutes of the last meeting. Board member David suggested to include at a future board meeting statistics on common threads on disciplined licensees. So I would just, if you wouldn't mind directing staff to bring us some data and information on that at the next board meeting.
We don't collect discipline based on where a dentist went to school. So it would require us to look at every complaint and look up the educational that was submitted for licensure. We receive over 5,000 complaints a year. It's not something that is easy to extract.
Well, I wasn't talking about on complaints, but on disciplined, on those that receive discipline. That would be a smaller cohort, I would assume.
We can look into what it would entail to pull that data.
Thank you. So we're going to break for 15 minutes and go into closed session. We're going to recess the open session now. Right.
And then just so the public is clear and our moderator, after closed session closes, we will reconvene open session so that the board president can provide a report on what occurred during closed session. After that one item, then the meeting will be over.
Well, we are back in open session, and as board president, I'm going to give a closed session report. We had 2 cases of disciplinary actions, and we voted to reject the stipulated settlements and to propose counteroffers on each of them. We are now in adjournment. Thank you. And thank you for the staff for, oh my goodness.
All right, let's hear it for you.
Yes.
Hey.
All right.